This is the Unsweetened Truth with Kristen and Pucci, where we talk about everything but don't sugarcoat anything. Welcome back to the Unsweetened Truth with Kristen and Pucci. Today we are doing some frequently asked questions. Being a entrepreneur and having a bit of a following on social media equals to many a question. So I worked with my team to kind of come put all of them together that I frequently get asked and answer them all on one podcast. So if there's future questions that you guys come up with after me answering this list today, feel free to send them to us and we'd be happy to answer them on a later pod. The first one is, what do I actually need to start a business? I'm not going to go into all the different things that you need to start a business because everybody's business is different. But I think the overall thing that I want to make very clear to people is you don't need as much as you think that you do. This is me speaking from starting a service business, not a product business. But you really just need yourself, an LLC, and a service. That's really all that you need. If you want to be crazy and make sure you have, a team on staff to help you with different things, like an accountant or attorneys, go for it. But you don't really need all that much. You could buy a laptop. That's what I did in the beginning. I bought a laptop. And then I just rock and rolled, okay? I spent money on a laptop, I spent money on my contracts, and then I spent money on my LLC. You can spend as much or as little as you want on your business when you first get started. Some will set you up for success and some will not. But the point that I want you to get across is that you don't have to spend a ton of money, invest a ton in your business for it to be successful in the beginning. If you are motivated about it and you've got a good service and you know how to sell this thing, get it out there. Which is something interesting that I know we're going to talk about later is sales. Through my executive coaching clients, through our clients that are starting new companies, a lot of people struggle with sales. And I think it's funny because just for all the salespeople out there that may be listening to this podcast, you would get a lot of validation from talking to entrepreneurs that start their own business because the thing that they struggle with typically the most is sales. How do I get new clients? Because you've either been in that world or you haven't, and you usually haven't been in both. So it's very, very interesting. But just get rocking, just get rolling, decide that you're going to do it. Don't get hung up on the name. Don't get hung up on, don't let anything hang you up. If you're banging your head against the wall against something regarding your business that really at the end of the day isn't all that important, you need to just move on, start it, make it real, make it good, and then later you can turn around and make it better. Do I need a personal brand? Going back to the sales thing that we just talked about before, it's going to make it a hell of a lot easier for you to sell and for you to gain clientele and hire if you have a personal brand. Absolutely, no one's going to argue that with me. If your personal brand sucks, then that's probably not going to help very much with your sales or very much with your hiring. But you need to put out your personal brand. It doesn't mean you need to create a bunch of curated content. It doesn't mean that you need to have the latest and greatest tools or whatever. People just need to see who you are. What would it be like to work with you? What would it be like to work for you? What would it be like to work with you? There's so many different things that can happen positively from focusing on your personal brand. And I know a lot of our clients, when they go and they start their own business, a lot of the things that they say to us, and we keep getting referrals from this, person who keeps saying this, but they're like, the thing that I wish that I started earlier was my presence on social media. I would have gotten so much farther along, so much more quickly if I had a presence on social media. So again, it doesn't have to be magical. You don't have to hire a whole team or whatever. If you want to, you can. But you just need to get out there. You just need to do it. That typically is something that people delegate very quickly, though, because they want to spend their time doing other things. They want to spend their time in the business. So I believe that, yes, I do think you need a personal brand, and I think you need to work on it before. Like if you want to start your own company, I think you need to be working on your personal brand before you start your own company. That way, in the event when you do start it, you've already got an audience, you've already got followers, and people are already interested and believe in you, trust you, have a relationship with you, know what type of experience they're going to have with you. It made a major change in my business, and I know that it has for my other clients as well. So I'm not just speaking from my own experience. I'm speaking just from working with hundreds of people over the last 5 years. How do I set my prices? This is something else that people struggle with all the time. And I get questions about this frequently, a lot through my coaching clients and my executive clients, is people get really hung up on how to set their own prices. Again, because I think when these high level CEOs and executives that are running these multi-million dollar companies, they're so far removed from that process, they don't know how to go back to the basics. So what we kind of help them with and what I coach them through is just like, hey, how much are you worth? What do you want what's the dollar per hour you want to spend on your time? Let's just break it down really, really easy. Or what do you know you want to make in a year? Right? You just have to start really, really big and then work it to be really, really small. And it's okay to change your pricing. My pricing has changed so much over the years. I've definitely have always had the value-based pricing model, which if somebody doesn't know what the value-based pricing model, it's the opposite of an hourly rate per model. So mine is very much, here's the project, here's what, the deliverables are, here's when I'm going to complete it, whatever, here's the price associated to the project. I think that that's really, really important. Because there's some things that take me 5 seconds. There's some things that take me 5 hours. There's some things that take me 5 months. But the things that take me 5 minutes have taken me a long time to figure out how to do it in 5 minutes, and you're going to pay for more than my 5 minutes. So that's why I think it's really, really important to get out of that hourly rate model. But from on the back end, that's how you're going to set your pricing. Go back and look at what you want to spend, what you want to make, and from an hourly rate. So say you want to make $250 an hour, great. Use that as your baseline for setting your day rates, setting your consulting rates, setting your whatever, and work backwards. And that may change depending on the client, right? At the end of the day, it may change. Of course, there's strategic pricing. I have an annoyance fee that I put on top. When I know a client's going to be annoying, I throw a little annoyance fee on there. Everyone laughs when I say that, so I know that everyone does it. They just call it their own thing. I know that I will sometimes decrease my pricing if I know that it's from a strategic perspective, if there's opportunity for more work in the future, if they're buying a lot of different services and multiples of their companies, or it's just, whatever. I would find that if I could give a tip here, which of course I can because it's my podcast and no one's going to tell me no. You need to make sure that you're not discounting stuff for people, right? You're not discounting things for people that haven't shown a proven relationship with you and a proven interest. People that want stuff for a discount are going to be a pain in the butt. And you just need to make sure that you are charging what you're charging. Don't discount your pricing. Don't devalue your pricing. Don't devalue your work. But start with that hourly rate, set it up. I would definitely advise value-based pricing, project-based pricing, monthly rate. And just from a cash flow perspective, it might be annoying for you to be having to invoice multiple times throughout the month, but I can tell you that your cash flow is going to thank you for it. So a lot of people, when they first get started, they're like, okay, I'm going to invoice once a month because they don't want to do it more than once a month. Well, I can tell you very early in, when you start having a team and you start having whatever, you're going to want to invoice more than once a month. Okay. And that doesn't mean that you have to invoice the same client more than once a month. It just means you need to kind of balance out all of your clients. So we typically have a client starting on the 1st or the 15th because that's just really important for cash flow. Payrolls every 2 weeks. People typically never pay directly on time. Some are great about it. Usually people are not. And it's not because a majority is, I don't think because they're trying to play games. I think it's just they're busy and whatever. But I also understand, business. So that's what I would say in regards to setting your pricing. And it's okay to raise your pricing. It's okay to lower your pricing. It's okay to doing whatever you want to do. But that's how I would recommend getting it started and setting your pricing. How do I get clients without feeling sleazy? So I hate sales. I got to be honest. I love building the relationship. I love organic growth. I love people that just come to me because they're interested in working with us. I love that stuff. I hate the filling of the pipeline, which is why I just hired a salesperson, because I just hate that. I've hated that forever. And I know to get where we want to go and what I want to do, I need to invest in a salesperson so that way they can fill the pipeline. They can be going out and obtaining new leads and new people and new stuff. So I would say, going back to the personal branding piece, if you really struggle with sales and you really struggle with that communication, you're going to want to create a personal brand. You need to create a funnel that is constantly hooking people and bringing people in and whatever. And if you hate both, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. I hate to break it to you. You're going to struggle. if you don't want to create some type of personal brand, if it's just you, if you don't want to do things on social media, if you don't want to do marketing, if you don't want to take the time to do that, but you also don't like sales, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle a lot because then you're just really being based off of word of mouth, some slight presence, and referrals. And that's just a dangerous game to play. So if you don't want to have to do the sleazy salesperson thing, then build a personal brand. Start building more relationships. I think another thing too is that people always relate sales to like cold calling. I'm not a cold caller. I'm not going to cold call. I don't like it. Get on LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn, start warming up connections. I think I think it's rejection that they struggle with sales, or they just don't know what to say, or they don't know what to do, or they don't know how to watch some sales videos. Like, you don't even need to read sales books. Go on Instagram and type sales coaching, sales leadership, sales training, just sales in general, and just see what reels you can watch, what videos you can watch. Go on TikTok. I'm trying to think I think they're like high ticket sales. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? People that sell like very expensive stuff. They're closers. They're like remote, like high ticket remote sales people. I don't know what it's called. I think there's an acronym for it, but they're people that sell very expensive things. They're usually remote, and these people make buku bucks. Go watch their sales videos. I love watching them because they're very good there's a lot on the line, right? Each call is very expensive. Each product or service is very expensive. All this stuff is very, very expensive. And the way that these people are able to navigate that and prove value and problem solve, it's very different than when a product is $10. When a product is 10,000, it's a totally different salesperson than a $10 product. Both are good for what they're doing, and they require different things. But if you want to get really, really good at sales, being an entrepreneur, you either have to learn how to sell a lot of cheap things to a bunch of people, or a couple really expensive things to a couple people. I mean, that's just, at the end of the day, that's what you're going to have to do. So you got to figure out which bucket you want to be in. Go research some salespeople, learn their tactics. The best salespeople aren't sleazy. That's unfortunately just the reputation that they have because of car salesmen and insurance and whatever. Like, people just think that salespeople are sleazy, and they're not. I'm selling sometimes and people don't even realize that I'm selling them. Relationship building is sales, but you have to be authentic. You have to genuinely be interested in the reputation of somebody and their relationship, because there's also people that like pretend that they do, and that's not good. And then their reputation's shot in the long run. So I would just say, be yourself, go find where, people hang out, what they do, have it be organic, and also build your personal brand. Do you need a website? So here's what I'm going to say about that. If you've only got so much money to invest in the beginning, people get like very hung up on websites, and they're like, I need a website and I need at the end of the day, do you need a website? Yes. Do people need to be able to find you somewhere? Sure. Like, you need to have a lighthouse of some type. It's a digital world. Of course you're going to need something like that. But what I'm going to advise you is you don't need this 6-page, 6-tab complex website with a sign in for your clients. You don't need that. Okay. You just need to be on Google in the event that people are looking for something that you offer. You show up, period, the end. It's just another opportunity for people to find you and give you money. So you get to decide for yourself if you don't want people to be able to find you and give you money, or if you do want people to find you and give you money. And your website really is just, you just get to decide as a client or as a business owner. You can decide as a business owner, not a client, what you want that website to communicate. Do you want them is it the type of website that you want them to just like filter themselves out because it's so big and they're going to like look through everything and there's so much to tell them and you want to educate them? Okay, that's one route. We have other clients that they literally just use their website as here's my placeholder. Glad you found me. Give you a little tidbit of what I do, but I'm not putting a lot on my website. You need to call me. We need to touch base. We need to chat. So that's something you just need to be thinking about. There's such a different range of websites, but when you're just getting started, just get something up. I remember I literally went on Wix, which is causing us more issues than anybody could ever imagine right now. Don't get a Wix website. Just don't. But so I literally spent a little bit of time, got one up, called it a day. There you go. And then if you have a little more money later to invest in your website, you have money to invest in your website. Great. When should I rebrand? So this could be so many different times, and it's going to be dependent on you. you'll feel it. If you're tuned into your company, you'll feel that you need a rebrand. For our situation, here's a couple like flags that went up that goes, okay, we need to do something about this. We need to change our messaging. We need to change our, because I kept it for a very long time. We were being compared to people I didn't want to be compared to and shouldn't have been being compared to. We were getting clients that I didn't want, that thought they were good clients for us. We didn't appear to be as impressive as we actually were. And it just continues to go and go from there. Other people, why they may need rebrands is they're hiring. I just wrote a post yesterday on that. A lot of companies really struggle with hiring. If you're in a competitive market with people that are fighting over whatever, like I said, I wrote it in this post yesterday. You could be a really great company to work for, but if nobody knows that and nothing online appears to be so, the other companies are going to get you because they're louder, their brand is stronger, and it might suck working there. I mean, right? How many companies do you know? There's a very popular one in Harrisburg that I just know is a really crappy company to go work for, but their brand is strong. Their name, people really resonate with it. People hate working there. They hate working there. They churn and burn them so quickly, but they get people because they're loud. They're loud, they're loud, they're loud. That's probably realistically why you heard about them. You saw them on Google, you saw them on social media. They take up a lot of space. It sucks to work there. So unfortunately, you've got to compete with some of these companies. Now their reputation will precede them. And it still does now, but other people still may not know. So I get it. You'd be like, well, it'll catch up to them. It already has, but they're still loud. There's always more people. There's always new stuff. So you need to be able to compete in that landscape. And no, you don't have to invest quite as much as these big bad companies. You don't have to do that. But you do need to invest something. You do need, when someone looks you up and goes to find you on Google or social media or wherever it is, you need to be able to them go, that's a really interesting place to work. Wow, their culture looks pretty cool, right? What are the things that people are thinking about? Types of projects they may be working on or things that they might be doing at work. Who am I going to be working with? Who am I going to be? The who, what, where, when, why, how, right? Like make sure those bases are covered in your social media and in your online presence. I think that's really, really important. And I don't even know how we got down that rabbit hole, but it had to do with rebranding. And so you'll feel it. If something's not clicking, if you feel like you're trying to jam a square peg into a round hole, it's not clicking. If you feel like the sales team is like selling the crap out of your services or your products, but they're not converting, check your website. Is it showing that people are getting to your website and then they're getting to your website and then they're going away? Might be a good opportunity to rebrand. It might have to do with the opposite direction. Like it might have to do with the opposite thing. Like your brand might be really selling it, but then your salespeople aren't. It's just, I think rebrands happen with curiosity. Curiosity as to why something isn't going the way that we want it to go. It would be I think people are always like problem solving, like operations and this and that, whatever. They need to be focusing a little bit more on their actual brand. You might not be getting more clients for as simply as your brand that you're putting out there is we're warm, we're fuzzy, or whatever. And then you've got Janice on customer service when she calls and she's like, what do you want? Seriously, that might be why you're not getting more sales. People do not get curious enough. You need to experience your business as the client. What are they experiencing? Who are they calling? Who are they coming in contact with? What website are they on? People rarely put themselves in their client's shoes and follow throughout the entire process. They rarely do that. You need to do it. And if there's an issue in that process, usually a rebrand is something that's relevant. What tools do I actually use? Great question. Which I think could be closely related to like what tools do you actually need? For everybody is going to be different. There's going to be things that you like doing and there's going to be things that you don't like doing. For me, don't want to touch money. Well, I do want to touch money, but just when I'm spending it. No, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know. I just want to know that we're good, right? Which is very obvious in my business because I've got a fractional CFO. I've got an accountant. I've got a bookkeeper. I've got like three lines of protection in the money category because it's just not something that I want to do. Now, am I so ignorant that I'm so far removed and I, don't know things and I don't want to know about it at all because I'm scared of it? No, it's just not where I am best suited with my time. Every single month we have a meeting. We talk about everything. I have a meeting with my CFO every single week. I'm aware. I'm plugged in. I'm tuned in. I know what's going on, but I just need to know about it from a high level so I can make the big decisions that I need to based off of what the numbers tell us. So I don't need to be involved in little numbers. So very early on, I was like, I don't want to be doing my invoicing. I don't want to be doing my invoicing. I don't like it. I'm going to get behind on it and then I'm going to have to track it. There's people out there that love that stuff. Delegate it, get it away from you. I would say contracts. There's so many ways that you could, like, we are very old school with our contracts, which I probably could get better with this, but I think I'm just kind of like I'm like a new age dinosaur. I don't even know how to call it, but there's e-sign, and there's all these Dubsado. There's all these different like signature things that you can do that, you get a copy, I get a copy, and you can like remote sign. It'd probably be more convenient. Same with the Calendly link. Just wrote a post all about that. You can go check out that from last week. There's a lot of tools you can actually use, but again, I think it directly aligns to your brand. How do you want to be perceived? What is the experience you want people to have with you? We'll focus on the Calendly link for a second because, again, I wrote a post on it last week. I think we're probably up to like 100 comments on it at this point because people hate a Calendly link. But it's not the Calendly link that they hate. And I think that's where it kind of lost some of the people in the comments that they're like, I use one because I know why you use it. Okay? I know why you use it because it's efficient. I get it. I understand it. But what are you communicating to your clients? Right? And that's all related to this brand. It's calling Janice when she answers the phone and goes, what do you need? Like, that to me is comparable to a Janice, a Calendly link. I just think it's similar. And it's like, I don't have enough time for you to go back and forth maybe one time to ask when you're available. Here's a link. Like, there's just a weird exchange of power. There's an arrogance that comes with it. And to me, that's not me. That's not me. That might be you. And you might have a completely different perspective of it, and that's totally fine. That's your business. No shade. Have fun with the freaking Calendly links. Just don't send them to me. I don't want to see it. I'd rather do the old school, shoot me a couple dates and times that you're available. And if it goes back and forth like 3 times, guys, it's something for you to reflect on and go, maybe I'm not aligned with this client. Right? Like that's an opportunity for you to kind of, how do they deal with pressure? How do they deal with communication? How do they deal with, what an opportunity to kind of figure out how this other person works before you even start working with them, just by setting up a meeting. So when you're deciding what tools you actually need and which ones you actually need to use, at the end of the day, you don't need any tools. Okay? There's no tools that you need. None. Not a one. You just need to decide what tools make sense for you, your company, your brand, and your team. There's some that work great for us. There's ones that don't work great for us, but work really great for others. It just all depends. If you're a high-tech company, maybe a bunch of techie stuff, that would probably make sense. It probably would be confusing for someone from a branding perspective if I'm like a very high-end tech company and we're still doing paper contracts. Like, I get it, but that relates to them. If you're old school and then you're super techie, that might not be the vibe. So I hope you're kind of seeing what I'm saying in regards to what tools do you need. You don't need any. You just need to figure out which ones are right for you, which ones make your job better, which ones can you use that other people maybe don't even know that you're using them, right? That's what you need, and that's what you need to figure out to be successful. Is it worth hiring early on? So, if you've never managed people before, don't do it. Don't hire people early on because you're going to get a crash course in business ownership and managing people. One of those in itself could make you hate your life and never want to do it again. And that's not because managing people is not great. It's just you don't know how to do it. So I would not make this assumption. A lot of people make this false assumption that like hiring a person is going to automatically make my life easier. It's not. They're not going to make your life easier for at least another 6 to 12 months unless you like know that they're incredible and they like completely manage themselves and they already know your business. It's like, then that's even with like a good employee, right? You hire a good employee, one that's going to work out, still takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months to like really get jiving. Okay. Really get jiving. They could be quick. I don't care. It could be the best employee. They're in the 6-month category. Still takes 6 months until they make your life easier. Prior to that, your life's not easier. You now have to do the thing that you hired them to do, plus train them how to do it, God forbid they have even remotely any struggle with it. Now you got to navigate the struggles, and you still have to do all of your own stuff while navigating them emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever. Like you still have to do all of that all at the same time. So your first 6 months of hiring a person is not sunshine and daisies. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. But you have to see it as an investment. You have to see it as, okay, I can get through these 6 months and then look at all that they're going to take off of me. Look at all that they're going to navigate. Look at all that they're going to do. So I would not hire early on if you've never managed people before. I would be very nervous for you to do that if you've also never owned a business. Now, there are circumstances. I had one. I had to hire very quickly because to scale, to handle the number of clients we had, I had to grow. Now, I was thankful that I had managed people in the past. I've spent a lot of time understanding leadership, reading about it, just learning about management and leadership. I had a lot of training in that. I felt comfortable doing that. I felt like that was something that I could do. But I don't want to give you the impression that it's this easy road, easy ride. You hire someone, it's good to go. They take it off and now you can double in size. It's just not the case. And I don't want to give you that expectation. But when you are deciding who you want to hire first, I would hire what you hate doing the most or what could make you more money. So the first hire that I had was like a marketing manager. She was involved in social media. She did some like websites. She did a little bit of everything, like a little bit. Yeah, she did a little bit of everything. Now, I hired that because I needed to like find another me in a way, right? Because we had way too many clients for one person. I had to find enough for like 2 people. So I believe that that's why I hired that, was because I had so many services. I had so many clients that I needed someone to help fulfill all of that. So I was still doing a lot of the administrative and whatever. I was like kind of giving that to somebody else to manage the marketing, to manage the whatever, which is funny because what some people do too is that they keep that, but then they hire for like office work, invoicing, all of those different things. So that's why I like paused for a second, because I was like, which one did I do first? So yeah, I hired with her in mind. Now let's kind of go back and play in what that looks like. So I obviously run a creative agency. I have all those different things. There's certain things that can only be me, and there's things that other people can do. Your goal as a business owner is to get you out of the business as quickly as possible. That doesn't mean that you're not involved. It doesn't mean that you're trying to sell the company. It just means that you hire people that are individually better at doing the individual tasks than you are. I have a team that I have people. I just made a video on this yesterday, so I'll throw it up on my Instagram. But I specifically hired a team of individual experts that are good in individual things, way better than I ever was at them. That is the whole purpose. You need to find people that love the thing that they do, and they do it so well, and they want to do it every single day, and they love it, and they just want to keep doing it. Hire a bunch of them in all those areas, and then you just keep growing and scaling and whatever. That is what you want to do. Where I am in my business now, I've worked very, very hard to create this. Where I am in my business now is I have literally delegated almost everything off. So where I can be in my lane is the leader, the visionary, the fire putter outer, the culture creator. Like I'm the person who's just like leading from the back sometimes, also leading from the front sometimes. Sometimes I have to shift my position, but I'm just like, all right, people, let's roll. This is where we're going. Everybody's on the same page. Let's rock and roll. And like, that's my job. And that you need that at your company. I've seen so many businesses, it's so sad, through culture coaching and just leadership, and even getting involved in branding, you really see how a company's leadership is. It's really quite amazing how marketing just uncovers so much. But that, you need that strong leadership. You got to delegate. You got to give it to people, because too, if you still hold on to something, but you've also delegated it to somebody else, that's not going to make the other person feel good. Give it to them. And if you don't trust them, is that because they're not trustworthy, or is that because you have a control problem? I don't know. You got to navigate it. So there's so much that we could talk to about hiring. I think something else that people are always asking me about is like subcontractors versus employees. You just get to decide that. Having employees is a lot of responsibility. I am on the hook for their salaries. I am on the hook for their mental health at work. I am on the hook for their ability to plan for their future. You're on the hook for a lot. There's a lot of responsibility being somebody's employer. You don't have that when you have subcontractors. Now, for me, it was very important for myself to create a team. I've always wanted a team. I've always wanted a healthy team. I've always wanted a healthy culture. I just love a team. I was big into sports. There's something good about a team. I like knowing that people are loyal and they are committed to each other. I really love that. Other people, it's not for them. They like it. And one of my good friends, she runs a big organization, and it's just her, and she subs everything out. Everything is very standardized. There's a lot of software involved, and like she just doesn't like having a team. Different people, different strokes, different folks. Okay, I like a team. Other people don't. So I think that's what you just have to decide. And then I also too, from where I am, I like my core team. I don't want to manage more people really than I have right now. I really don't. Other people love to just manage people. There could be a time and there could be a day that if I hired, say, a CEO to run this company and they want 100 employees, great. Then you could run the company with 100 employees, and then all of my current employees are managing, 5 employees themselves. That could be our future. That's not the one that I want to be managing, but that's what I get to decide in the future. But right now, when we get into places that we need more members than we've got a very healthy deck of subcontractors. Each department has people that they can rely on and reach out to. So we're just prepared for anything. What's your weekly workflow? It's changed so much. It's so funny. Because there used to be a time that I was doing a lot of the actual tasks themselves. Now I've delegated those off. I have employees for them. I have team members. We have subcontractors for them. I have other people that I've hired to do things. So now my week is a lot of meetings. Like I have a lot of meetings, checking in with people, sitting a part of client meetings that my team needs me to sit a part of. It's a lot of time blocked for myself. There's a lot of free time for me to be able to envision. Like yesterday, I literally spent I was on ChatGPT for probably 2 hours just working on planning for the company. I love my little queen, my little ChatGPT queen. She just helps me brainstorm. It's like just having this brainstorming person all the time. And I did that trend the other day that was like, what is your AI, what is your ChatGPT like when you ask them, what is it like to work with me? She just like really she outdid herself with the image. I had this little bob haircut, which is amazing because she doesn't know what I look like, but cool. So I had this little bob haircut. It looked like I literally had a cigarette. It was my pen, but it looks like a cigarette, which I was like, vibe. And then I had a blazer with a graphic tee under, so she knew that, which was great. Skinny jeans. Not sure about that. And then these like Converse shoes. So I get where she was headed. It was cute. It was fun. We were in like a little rustic room, and then there was all these ideas on the wall. Like, kind of cute. I get the vibe. So I guess what I'm saying with this is that is what my week has transitioned very much so from doing to overseeing. So I oversee other people that are doing. I am creating plans and visions and goals and stuff for the future. I am recirculating things that I need to accomplish. I'm able to kind of be thinking about 5, 10, 15 steps ahead because the right now is all taken care of. I am truly working on the business, not so much in the business like I used to be, which is where you want to get to. Other just like very functional things about my week though that I think are important is like I don't start my mornings before 9. If a person wants a meeting at 8 a.m., it's got to be a client that's like, okay, you're making me some buku bucks for me to get on a meeting at 8. But like prior to 9 is my time. That doesn't mean that I'm not working. I want to be clear about that. There's some days I start working. My poor team will get emails at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But there's times that I'm working way before 9. Nobody is getting my attention before 9. So I want to be clear about that. I have boundaries around when people are allowed to have my attention. So I could start working at 7:30. I get an hour and a half in the morning. Whip it out. Things I can get done in an hour and a half is incredible. So you need to put boundaries around the time that people have access and availability to you. I love an open door policy. All that's great. My team knows they can call me if they've got an issue. They know that they have my calendar. If I'm in the middle of a meeting, don't call me with an issue. But they know, right? And then come the end of the day, I'm not working in the evenings. I'm done been a little bit later lately because we've just had a lot of really new projects and just different things I've been working on. So usually I like to limit my access that someone has with me for meetings about 1 or 2 o'clock. I'm not a very happy individual after 1 or 2 o'clock. My brain's just fried. You're just not getting my best brain. I'm a little bit irritable. I'm tired from the day. I just know that people shouldn't be allowed to be around me then. So I know that about myself and I put those boundaries. So I have meetings anywhere usually from 9 to about 2 o'clock. Great. That doesn't mean I'm done working at 2 o'clock. It just means that I no longer have to communicate with people. I don't want to communicate with people after 2 o'clock, other than people that make me laugh. Then I want to hang out with them after 2 o'clock. So that's usually my week. Mondays, I'm always in the office. I think you should always have an all day office day. I think that should definitely be something that you do. All day, you have an office day. And so what that means is just that's a day that you can catch up on stuff, you can get aligned, you can get realigned, you can whatever. Mine is Monday. I like mine for Monday. I like an on-ramp into the week. It gives me way less Sunday scaries. Like, because I know that I'm in my office all day on Monday, it doesn't give me the Sunday scaries like having to like get up Monday morning and go bang right to an 8 a.m. meeting and have to drive somewhere. I don't like that. Other people may. Pick what's best for you. Maybe your all day office day is Friday because you want to ease into the weekend. Whatever it is. But my Mondays usually a little bit, they're all meetings all day in office. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I hit it hard. Lots of meetings, lots of calls, lots of projects, lots of stuff with my team. And then Fridays are usually another like kind of catch it up day. So I think it's good for you to just time block yourself and make sure that you have times that you're hitting your work really hard, you're knocking it out, you're getting it done. And if I'm working, right? If I have, like I said, that those 2 hours I spent with ChatGPT, I was like, I got all these things done. You have to be focused. If you're working crazy hours, you have bad time management or you've got a lot going on and we're just struggling to navigate it all. But you can't be working significantly more hours than what you're supposed to be working. I think it's just inefficient. I would challenge you if you're working significant hours more than your usual, 7 to 3, 4, 9 to 5, whatever. I would be questioning you what you're doing during work. How much are you scrolling? How much are you just staring at your screen? Are you online shopping? How many trips to the bathroom and water breaks? And I'm not saying hold the bathroom, but just like you get what I'm saying. What is distracting you when you are throughout the workday? I remember working in corporate and I would go and I'd stand at the freaking coffee place in the little kitchen and we just get to shooting the shit and then 30 minutes is gone. And then that's why you got to stay at work till 7:30. It's just what you decide. It's just what's important. So for me, that's what I think is good. So I think that's about it for our list of frequently asked business questions, branding questions. I love these questions. You guys send me, it's so funny. I need to be better about this. Because I get questions all the time to LinkedIn or even Instagram, but I just answer them. I need to be better about sending them to my team because then they can make a podcast off of it. So I will work on that. But if you have any other questions or this sparks something, you listen to this podcast, I'm very easy to find. DM me on LinkedIn. DM me on Instagram. You'll probably find my email. Call me. Text. Actually, no, don't call me. Don't text me. Don't do that. But I would love to hear more questions from you in regards to what you have about business. I'd love to be there to support you, cheer you on, and just use me as a guide, use me as a mentor. I'd love to help with all of that. But thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you have any future questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys next week.